Hello, I'm Healthy Emmie. I'm a nutritionist, a weight loss specialist, and today I'm going to be showing you exactly what I'm eating for lunch on the Starch Solution. If you're new here and you are looking to learn about how to release weight, how to rock a plant-based diet, then click the subscribe button. And if you want the exact step-by-step guidance on how to do this, check out my Slim on Starch program linked in the down bar. If you are looking to lose weight on a starch-based, plant-based diet, there's two ways you can eat. You can fall into the KISS category, or you can fall into the recipes category. The KISS category is the route that I'm taking today. KISS stands for Keep It Simple, Sweetie. And it's when you take a plate and you simply fill it with a combination of starches, vegetables, fruits, legumes. You definitely want to have your starch in your vegetables, and then you can feel free to throw in some legumes, nuts, seeds, have some fruit on the side. I just got back from a trip yesterday. My fridge is barren, but luckily, because I'm rocking the KISS side of things, I don't have to run out and get all of these things for recipes and ingredients, but I want to show you what realistically this might look like for some meals, and that is okay. So let me show you how to make this meal, and then we'll chat more about it. I just got back from a trip yesterday, so here is what we have in the fridge. This is the great thing about doing KISS meals, is that you don't have to have certain ingredients, just whatever you have you can throw together. By the way, that is my boyfriend's side of the fridge. The left side is my side. So last night when I got home, I just threw into the oven a couple of Japanese sweet potatoes. I threw those in at 400 degrees directly on the rack. I just cut some holes in them and put them in there for about an hour, and then I had a few of the Hawaiian sweet potatoes left over, so I put those in this Instant Pot steamer and put them into the Instant Pot to steam with about an inch of water for about 10 minutes, and those have been in the fridge overnight. I also have some zucchini from before my trip, and then I have some Brussels sprouts from before my trip. So we're gonna throw these together into a KISS meal. So I've got my starch, my potatoes. We'll see how much I end up eating when I put it all together. We'll do a couple of zucchini, so before I cut these up, I am going to wash them. The way that I do that, I'm just gonna take this big bowl, put my Brussels sprouts in as well. I get this on Amazon. It's linked on my Amazon storefront. It's the Renovera wash, and it gets gunk off of this produce. Not sponsored. But yeah, I just put a little bit in the bottom there, and then I throw some water on top and let it sit for about 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna let those bathe for a little bit in this water to get all the gunk off of them. And then, this always makes my boyfriend laugh, but I have this little contraption right here. This is something that's actually used for scrubbing and cleaning surfaces, but I use it on my potatoes and any tougher produce. So it's rechargeable, doesn't require batteries, and then I just use it to All right, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and drain these guys. And now we can get to chopping. All right, so I'm gonna chop these guys up. These are huge. Sometimes I like to cut them into half moons. Sometimes I like to cut them into fourths. I think today I'll do a combination of both. You'll actually find that the taste of them changes based on how you cut them. So experiment with different shapes and sizes. So I'll do some in sticks, I'll do some in half moons. Into my favorite contraption of all time, the microwave steamer. I'm obsessed with this thing. This is also on my Amazon storefront. Mix in some Brussies. I actually don't trim the bottom of the Brussels sprout. I eat the whole thing. So just cut these guys in half. Depending on their size, sometimes I quarter them, sometimes I halve them, sometimes if they're petite, I will keep them as they are. These guys I'll cut in half. And then, you know, sometimes I'll do quarters if it's a bigger one, but they tend to fall apart the more that you cut them, so we'll do halves. I know that I'm chopping all of this up and you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, she's gonna eat all of that, 2 huge zucchini, potatoes, Brussels sprouts. If you're brand new to this lifestyle, it's gonna be really tough for you to eat this amount, and you're not going to be hungry for this amount. And if you're looking to lose weight, that's kind of the point, that you get full on it sooner. And so I want to urge you to listen to your hunger fullness cues. I've been eating this way for so long, and I'm at the point where I don't need to release that weight anymore, that the magic of these foods can work their magic, and that these foods are self-limiting. So your body isn't going to want to eat more than it needs. You're going to find that you get full off these foods, and when you get full, you're done. So what I don't want you to do here is go based on the amount that I'm showing you. I really want you to go based on your hunger fullness cues. All right, so now I'm going to pour some water in the bottom of this. You only want to put in a little bit of water. You don't want the water to be touching the veggies. I'm just going to snap this on top, which is very satisfying. And now apparently you're supposed to open this when you microwave it. I never do. I keep it closed. I like my veggies super overcooked. So I personally will put this in for like 15 minutes in the microwave, which some people think is insane, but I like them really well cooked. All right, the veggies are out of the microwave, which means I can go ahead and plate this up. I'm often asked about portion sizes. How much should I eat? How big should my plate be? This is where your hunger fullness cues and your natural ability to tune into your body's cues are going to come in handy. And I know what you're thinking, I don't know how to do that. This is a huge thing that I go over in the Slim on Starch program, but let me tell you this, that these foods are self-limiting, meaning that your body has the ability to regulate how much of these foods it truly needs, and we don't need to micromanage it. I understand that after many years of maybe dieting or calorie counting or your hunger fullness cues being hijacked, it might be difficult to tap into that ability, but please do know that your body absolutely has the ability to do this. So I'm gonna put these veggies onto the plate here. And I'm just gonna do half of them, and if after I eat half of them, I feel like I want more, then I'll go and get more. And then for my potatoes, I'm gonna start out with 1 JSP, which I will heat up. And then I'm gonna do 1 JSP, and I'm gonna do one of the Hawaiians. And after I get a taste for each, I'll sort of have a feel for what am I feeling today? Do I want JSPs? Do I want Hawaiians? So that's the great thing to do as well, is you don't have to, you don't just get one plate. Especially if you have the luxury to eat from home, allow yourself to tune into your body's natural hunger fullness cues and say, I'm just gonna start with this for now. I'm gonna eat this, and then if I feel like I need more, I'm gonna go and get more. If you are eating a plant-based diet, you must supplement vitamin B12. It's very difficult to find a clean B12 on the market, which is why I decided to make one myself, because I couldn't find one that was clean. They were all gross and they had sugar and oil and animal products added. So I made a vitamin B12 that's just one active ingredient, B12, that's it, no junk, no GMOs, no sugar, no oil, no processed junk, no gross stuff. Vegan, clean, premium ingredients. Get yours in the down bar, and you can subscribe and save so that's delivered to your door every month and you don't have to worry about B12 deficiency. Vitamin B12 deficiency can have neurological complications. It can cause depression, fatigue, memory loss. There are even studies showing a link between vitamin B12 deficiency and the progression of Alzheimer's. So you definitely don't want to risk this, and just make sure that you're supplementing. Get it in the description. It's time to dig in. I always do a meditation before I eat. I have just done my 1 minute of meditation to get my body into rest and digest. And if you don't have time to meditate for a minute, then you should be meditating for 10 minutes. But I do understand that you might be eating when you're at work. Listen, I used to be a teacher. I totally get it. Meditation is not always sitting like a Buddha and doing this perfectly. There's no perfect way to do meditation. If just taking a deep breath is all that you're able to do for whatever reason, that is fantastic. If you are in a busy area, if you're driving, if whatever it is, that whatever circumstances you're in that you have to abide to while you eat, if you can just do one of these, really focus on the exhale, make the exhale as long as possible, that is fantastic. That is going to tell your body, okay, we're slowing down. Let me adjust this camera. Now we're going to sit down and eat this meal together, and I'm going to walk through with you the absolute essentials that you must adopt if you want to be successful at releasing weight or maintaining weight on a Starch Solution based diet. Last time I did this, I did it without any editing so that we could sit down, you're on the other side of this table, we're eating together and having a conversation about this. If you like that, let me know. I love it. I love how authentic it feels and it doesn't have all the jump cuts. So if you like that, please let me know and I'll do more of these. Now the first thing is you might look at this and say, oh my gosh, where's the seasoning? This is so bland. There's no set way that you don't have to do this. You don't have to eat like this. I have plenty of recipe books that are so exciting with all these different recipes and tastes and textures and colors. If you want to keep it more simple like me, but you want to add some seasonings, go for it. Add herbs and spices and condiments. Add what you need to. I'm going to talk about why I love eating this way so much as we get into this, but please don't look at this and get freaked out and think this is horrible. There's no way I can do this. I'm going to talk about why I'm eating this way and why I choose to eat this way. I don't have to eat this way. I get to eat this way, but let's get into it. I'm also simultaneously, while I record this video, I am recording something for my Slim on Starch program. So you're gonna see me do here's a little sneak preview of the things that I'm doing in the Slim on Starch program. The module that I'm currently updating is pre-meal, during meal, and post-meal routines. The reason why this is so important is to help my clients who struggle with mindless snacking, for example, teach their brain and their body to start mealtime, have mealtime, and stop mealtime and prevent the snacking and overeating. So I'm just gonna film a little quick something for one of the during meal routines. And you get to see this happen live. So I have here my cheat sheet, my little worksheet that we just did in the workshop to establish your routines. And the habit that I'm going to engage in right now is making sure that I put the fork down between bites. Okay, now back to the YouTube video. Now, as I was talking about, a KISS meal is a combination of your starches, your vegetables, your legumes, and your fruits. You definitely want to make sure that you have starches and vegetables at every meal. Legumes are fantastic. Legumes, I know I pronounce them funny. When I first got on a plant-based lifestyle, that's how I learned how to pronounce them. It's been 10 years of pronouncing it this way. I think it might be ingrained. Legumes are fantastic because they give you a nice hit of protein and they help delay stomach emptying. Do you have to include them at every single meal? You don't have to, but if you find that you are struggling with feeling full, if you feel like you eat and 20 minutes later you're hungry again, you're going to want to include those. I'm definitely gonna go pick some up at the grocery store after this. Like I said, I just got back from California. I was gone for the week. So this is what I have in the fridge and this is what I'm eating. Which brings me to my next point, that not every single meal has to win an Academy Award. You don't have to have this huge foodgasm every time that you eat. And part of the reason why I subscribe to that philosophy is because I believe that, and listen, this is my human experience. If yours looks different, I totally respect that. And I think it's fabulous that people have made careers out of food and used food as art. And if that's what, right when I said I wasn't gonna do any editing, my camera cut out and I just hit my bum on the corner of the counter. That really hurt. Okay, so I think it's beautiful that there are people that have made art out of food and they have this gorgeous career around it and they're chefs, and that's awesome. If that works for them, incredible. For me, I like to find joy and pleasure and excitement out of other areas in life. I'm really into fashion. I'm really into content creation. I love videography and photography. That excites me. That realm of creativity is where I really thrive. I love being with my family, with my boyfriend, and my relationships. And I find that food can either enhance those parts of my world or it will take away from those parts of my world. Brussels sprouts are so good. That was something else I wanted to talk about. So much to talk about. I need like a notepad to write down everything I want to talk about. I actually might do that. So, when I feel like my best self, when I am eating foods that make me feel great, they make my digestion feel great, I'm energetic, I sleep well, I show up as my best self, and there's no cloud, there's no fog from food. When eating foods that are highly processed, that are designed to make us addicted to them, we think about them all the time. You're listening to a song, but you're not really there because in the back of your mind, you're like, how many minutes until dinner? All I want to do is have chocolate right now. My stomach hurts from the chocolate that I had earlier. I don't feel comfortable in this clothing because I feel bloated. Now food is robbing you of those experiences. Whereas when you eat foods that nourish you, you can go into these situations and you are 100% present. You're there, you're wrapped up in it, you're in your flow state. In the Slim on Starch program, we call them primary foods. Primary foods are the things that you love to do that are totally outside of food. Relationships, hobbies, things that you get excited, I can't wait to get home tonight and read my book. Those things that you are just so excited about that aren't food related. This food is so good. And I trained my taste buds and my brain to eat these foods and experience a foodgasm. So you might look at this and be like, that's so sad, it's so bland. And I probably definitely would have said the same thing 10, 15 years ago. But I swear to you, my hand to God, you have the ability to change your taste buds, change your brain chemistry so that you can eat these foods and fully enjoy them. And listen, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are right. So if you think that you're unable to do that, congratulations, you're correct. But if you step into this and you say, I got this, I'm doing this thing, then you have the ability to do it. Ooh, that's another thing I want to talk about. I'll just talk about it now. I don't even need to note it down. I was talking about this on a client call this morning. So I do calls, Zoom calls, group calls with my clients. And I mentioned the philosophy of acting as if. pause. Something relevant is happening to this video, but also I need this for my Slim on Starch program. One of my during meal routines is to eat without judgment, which means if my body is telling me, hey, we need a little bit more fuel, I'm gonna respond to that and I'm not gonna second guess it, because these foods are self-limiting. The body knows how much of it needs, and I'm gonna respect that. I'm not gonna resist it. And I have some more food here on the counter. I feel like I need some more vegetables, so I'm gonna put some more vegetables on my plate. So let's do that. From my lovely steamer here, I'm gonna put some more on, and I'm gonna keep on keeping on with my meals. So, something that Beyonce did and does is she would step into Sasha Fierce. When she was on stage, she was Sasha Fierce. And Beyonce then became known as Sasha Fierce. People would call her that because she would step into that character. Brussels sprouts are the best food on the planet. She became Sasha Fierce. She named it, she stepped into it, and eventually that's who she became. So for you, who's your alter ego gonna be? What are you gonna call that higher version of yourself? And step into them. Every meal is an opportunity for you to step into that version of yourself. And over time, you become Sasha Fierce. This starts to come naturally to you. I remember the first time I went to Whole Foods and I was buying all my foods, and the cashier said to me, "Are you vegan?" And I had just gone plant-based like the week before. And I remember I felt so funny saying yes, because I was like, it's only been a week. Am I actually? And I remember that feeling funny, but I said it anyway. And I said, yes, I am. That was the first time I'd said it out loud and said, oh wow, okay, I'm really doing this thing. This is part of who I am. This is part of my identity. Not to say that how you eat is part of your identity, but there is an important topic for me to talk about here. First, let me say that the way that you eat is not your entire identity. Your identity has so many, it's a myriad of different things that make you you. But James Clear has this philosophy that I really do find to be impactful when it comes to the language that we use with ourselves. There was a study, 2 groups of people. One group said, I don't miss a workout. The other said, I can't miss a workout. And they wanted to study and see which group was more likely to do the workout based on what they would say. And they found a statistically significant difference between the group of people that said, I don't miss a workout versus those that said I can't miss a workout. Those who said, I don't miss a workout, I just don't do it. I don't miss workouts. They were statistically much more likely to engage in the workout than the people that said, I can't miss a workout. Because when you say that you do or you don't do something, it's part of who you are. You are the internal one choosing, I don't do that. That's not part of who I am. Versus can or can't. Now there's some external force telling you whether or not you can do something. But when you pull it in and make it internal, I just don't do that. now things are gonna look different for you. So if you're really looking to shed this old version of yourself and you feel silly stepping into this new version of yourself of, last night I was binge eating and now I'm gonna say, I don't binge eat anymore. Well, I did it last night and I'm probably gonna do it again. Okay, if we continue to think this way, then you're going to continue to do it. I have a lot of clients who they don't realize they do it until I point it out to them. They'll say what their struggle has been in the past. They'll say it in present tense. So they'll say, I get home from work and I binge eat. It's what I do. I'm going on a trip, and whenever I get back from the trip, I will binge eat. And I just keep it going. It's just what I do. Well, yeah, it's going to continue to be what you do if you continue to speak in present tense that this is part of who you are and this is what you do. Let me pop this in the microwave. I'm gonna keep these guys out because I don't want them to get too hot. While I pop this in the microwave, it's the fact that the microwave is right here. I moved to the table for this video. Okay. Where was I? So the way that I want you to change, I want you to do a language shift here. I want you to now say, my past self really struggled with binge eating. And now I've detached from that. And what I do now is I make sure to nourish myself. With this trip that I have coming up, I'm going to prepare things so that when I get back, I'm preparing things so for when I get back. This reminds me of something, one of our mindset coaches, Natalie, would always say this to clients. She'd say, I want you to take don't out of your vocabulary. And she wasn't trying to be metaphorical, or she legitimately meant you have to take the word don't out of your vocabulary. Or you have to take the word try out of your vocabulary. Because clients would say, I'm trying to listen to my hunger cues. Once you've used that word try, you've now built in the ability for failure. So instead, we said, I'm listening to my hunger fullness cues. You might say, well, I can't do that yet. So am I lying to myself? I hope you're starting to realize here that the only way for us to get from who you are right now to who you want to be and to close that gap is to start acting like that person. If you're always putting that version of yourself out on the horizon, there's always going to be that gap between who you are now and who you want to be. You've just got to step into it. I always like to have veggies with my meals. I was on vacation last week with my girlfriends, my best friends from college. I have a boyfriend of 5 years, so I'm not saying that I am dating multiple girlfriends. Although, one of the most important people in my world, somebody that I absolutely love and miss and is no longer here on this planet, was polyamorous. And I had never met somebody polyamorous before. And she was one of the coolest people I've ever met. And I'm monogamous, and I'll always be monogamous. But total side note here for any of my clients, something that I really like about myself is truly, I am so open-minded and non-judgmental and respecting of how other people operate, DSDF, different strokes, different folks. I will never force somebody to act the way that I act. That'd be insane because we're all unique people. My human experience is different from yours, but whenever a client comes to me and they're embarrassed to tell me something, I want you to know I am the least judgmental person on the planet. And that's something I decided to be consciously in maybe my teen years. I said, I think it's so cool when people are not judgmental and just accepting for who people are and don't try to change somebody. Anyway, that was a total tangent. What was I even talking about? I don't remember. We had taco night. So I just posted a vlog that I went to California to visit my 2 college best friends who live in LA. And we went to Malibu for the week. And one of the nights we did a taco night, a fajita night. And I made sure to have my veggies with it. This will help stabilize your blood sugar. It will help monitor your hunger fullness cues. And it'll keep the calorie density of your meal within a range where you don't have to count calories or control your portion sizes. You can truly eat until you're satisfied. So let's talk a little bit about that, eating until you're satisfied. This is part of the reason, actually I need to visit my cheat sheet here, because oh my gosh, they're cleaning the windows at my apartment. There's a man outside my window right now. I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. I'm sure he's seen some wild things. My apartment did email us on Friday and I completely forgot. Okay. I am filming right now, as I said, for the Slim on Starch program. Pre-meal routines, during meal routines, after meal routines. So which one should I choose? I have a cheat sheet here of all these during meal routines that I can choose from. Chew slowly and thoroughly. So as you can see, when I chew my food, I chew it to the consistency of applesauce before swallowing. And swallow. This is going to improve your digestion like you would not believe. I promise you, if you sit down and have this meal with me and you eat at the pace that I'm eating at, you really slow down and chew your food, you're gonna see a huge difference with your bloating. So yes, eating until you're satisfied. This is a question I get so often from clients is, how do I know when I'm full? How do I know when I've had enough? We are born, I'm gonna pop this in the microwave. Actually, I'm gonna move on to my Hawaiian sweet potato. Actually, I want my Japanese sweet potato first. Let me put this in the microwave. I like my Hawaiian, I don't know, I cook my Hawaiians differently all the time, but these ones were in the Instant Pot last night, and I usually like these like room temperature, so I'm not gonna put that in the microwave. You're born with the ability to know how to swallow. If you start thinking about how to swallow, you freak yourself out and you're like, I don't think that I know how to do this anymore. You're born with the ability to know how to breathe, but once you start thinking about breathing, it's all over. Or blinking. Once you start thinking about blinking, it's all over. You know when that happens? When you have the ability to do all these things inherently just because you're human, but then once you get in your head about it, it's like you don't know how to do it anymore. This is exactly what's happening with hunger fullness cues. When you eat whole natural foods, your body has the ability to tell you when you've had enough and when you need more. In the Stone Age days, back before there were processed foods, there was no problem with this. You could just eat, and once you felt like you had enough, you were good to go. However, once processed foods were introduced, this is when everyone started to have health problems and everyone's weight went up because people were still listening to their hunger fullness cues, but now the calorie density was so much higher. So the plate that I just had, if you fill that up with processed foods, I go from eating, I have no idea how many calories this is. Let me guess. 500 maybe with the other potatoes that I have. This plate goes from being 400, 500 calories to 1,500 easily. So if you sit down 3 times a day and you're eating 1,500 calories, you've eaten 4,500 calories, but you still feel the same level of fullness because the volume of the food is the same size. So then, people were basically taught, okay, well now you need to watch your portions. You can't eat that much. So when you take something natural like hunger fullness cues and you mix it with something unnatural like highly processed foods, now you're in trouble. I always eat the skin of the potato. That's why we wash our potatoes. I need cinnamon. I don't have cinnamon. Okay, now I have cinnamon. So what I'm saying is that you have the ability to listen to your hunger fullness cues. You've either been taught, probably by society or a family member, whatever, or by yourself if you've just tried eating less, that you need to eat less. You need to really watch those hunger fullness cues. Don't eat until you're full, because then that's too much. But the reality is that when you eat these foods, you don't have to regulate your hunger fullness cues. You can just free ball it, so to speak. Your body's got it covered. So surrender to it. I love using that word, surrender, when it comes to hunger fullness cues because there's so much resistance to listening to your hunger fullness cues. And I understand it might not be that simple. And that you may have a very checkered past with your relationship with food, your relationship with your body, your trust with your body, which is why in the Slim on Starch program, not only is mindset a huge part of the Slim on Starch program with my clients, but there's a whole workshop about rebuilding trust with your body. I'm sure there are many of you watching that have had experiences that have caused you to build distrust with your body. Take a minute, pause and think about, while I chew this, experiences in your past that have caused distrust with your body. And before we talk about that, I think I need one more during meal ritual to do. Ooh, okay. Describe the texture of the food. Let me describe the texture of this Japanese sweet potato that I baked. Spongy is coming up for me for some reason, like in the best way. Like a roasted caramelized sponginess. And that was my last little meal routine. Back to the trust thing. Now you recognize, okay, there's a reason for this, why I have this distrust with my body. And then the question comes up, can you forgive your body? Forgiveness, the inability to forgive, holding a grudge, is like swallowing poison and hoping that the other person dies. If you are unable to forgive your body or forgive yourself for the lack of trust and communication between you and your body, this is going to be a really difficult road. So how do we forgive our bodies and also rebuild trust? Well, the first is something that definitely I delve into with my clients. That can require some more hand-holding and a personalized approach. But then trust. Think about all the great things your body has done for you. All the things that you've done for you. I'm sure you've accomplished some really remarkable things. What has your body done for you? What miles has it walked? Where has it brought you to see in the world? Have you delivered a child? Have you contributed to making a child if you're a male? Have you raised a child? Have you raised a child that's not your own? That's a huge toll on the body. I know that you feel at odds with your body, but your body has been on your side this entire time, and it's been trying its best. It has a lot to do. My mom talks about this. So my mom was a hospital nurse for, age 25. Well, really, that's when she graduated nursing school, 24. She graduated nursing school, 25. But you start the nursing when you're like 22, maybe. So let's say 22 to, she retired when she was 62. So 40 years of nursing. And something she would say to me whenever I would come to her with some sort of ailment. She'd say, our body ticks along every single day with no problems. Oh my gosh, the window cleaner. My camera cut out right at the good part. And when I was about to have my Hawaiian sweet potato. I'm actually not sure. These might not be good. There's a lot going on right now. Some of these were rotten. I don't know if that's a good one. Like I said, I just got home from California, so they were just in my cabinet for like a week. don't think that one's. I don't know if any of these are good. This one might be good. Might be good. Let's try it. It's fine. Our body ticks along all day long. I'm so sorry if you can hear the window cleaners. With no issues. It does all of these unbelievable things every day that we don't give it credit for. And then the one time something seems off, you have this little tick in your knee or your foot hurts just a little bit. It's like the end of the world. But your body's been on your side this whole time. It's been doing so much for you, and we just never gave the opportunity to sort of thank our body or thank ourselves for it. Okay, this potato is bad. I think I'm gonna have another JSP. So these aren't very good. They're like old. What I'm going to encourage you to do is give your body a freaking chance because it's been doing a lot for you this whole time. It's done so many things right. Let's give your body the opportunity to show you that it can do this too. You probably honestly just haven't given it the chance to. Why? What's the answer to that? What is the answer to the question of why you haven't given your body a chance to show you what it's capable of? Well, I got my other JSP. Here's JSP number 2 that I'm gonna put in the microwave while I eat this subpar Hawaiian sweet potato. The window washers were just watching me eat. So, and talk to a camera while I did so. What time is it? Yum, yum. One more potato, then back to work. So, all this to say, believe that you do have the ability to listen to your hunger fullness cues. You do have the ability to release weight. Your body can do all of these things. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind. Allow it to show you that it can. Sometimes I'll be on the phone with a new client and they'll say, is there anybody that this hasn't worked for? Because I think I'm gonna be that one person that it doesn't work for. If you say that, you're going to manifest not being successful. You absolutely must drop that mentality. And how do you drop it? Let's replace it with some more positive thoughts about what you are able to do. I'm gonna be the person that this works for. I was on a call today with a client. And she said, you know, I had a really tough weekend, but I'm going to succeed at this. I'm going to be the person who, a year from now, because I said to my clients, a year from now, we'll see who was really serious about this. She said, I'm going to be that person who's here a year from now and was successful. I absolutely will be. And I believe her. She needs to say that to herself every single day, though. Because those moments of sheer determination are fleeting. So that's something you have to repeat to yourself every single day. One of my coaches in the Slim on Starch program, Ella, said to one of our clients who was getting nervous about the novelty wearing off, she's like, it's so exciting at the beginning. What am I going to do when it's not exciting anymore? And Ella said, well, that's a good thing. That's when you know it's become a habit. I said, Ella, I'm going to talk about that and shout you out. Which, isn't that the whole point of this? To have it be a habit? I'll tell you something that never wears off, the excitement for Japanese sweet potatoes. All right. If you made it to this point of the video, I want you to comment trust, because I want you to trust that this will work for you. And if you need hand-holding, if you need step-by-step guidance and you don't need hand-holding, if you just want to get this done and fast-track your way to success, then click the link in the down bar to join the Slim on Starch program, and I can be your shining, guiding light. I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next video.